Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Clinic Gym Radio. I am your host, Dr. Josh Satterley, and I'm lucky enough today to be joined by Marc Berry from Life Fitness. How you doing, Marc?
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, Marc, we know each other from the world of TPI, and you've been out on the road with TPI and all the different seminars for what feels like 100 years, but
Certainly a decade.
yeah. So, Marc, you're well integrated into the world of fitness, but can you give everybody an idea of who Life Fitness is and kind of what you guys focus on, which little sliver of the market you guys go after?
Certainly. Well, Life Fitness started, 40 years ago as a bike company. The Life Fitness Life Cycle bike was the inception of the business with Augie Nieto many years ago. And, fast forward to today, and we're a $1 billion organization that builds 500 products.
Wow. And so what are some of the brands so people would see that you guys kind of represent or house?
Yep. Over time through expansion and capital investment, the company has decided to grow the business, and the Hammer Strength brand was our first acquisition. And since then we've had the Cybex line added to our portfolio, the indoor cycling group organization added to our portfolio, as well as the SciFit Corporation. So we're filling in the tool belt, if you will.
So if I've worked out in a major, any of the national chain gyms in the last 10 years, guaranteed I've used your equipment.
Highly likely.
Yeah.
We're very saturated in most markets, and certainly in the front-facing YMCA and health club business.
Yeah, that's corporate lingo, highly saturated corporate lingo for we make a buttload of money and a buttload of equipment, right?
We're doing well.
Yeah. All right. What is the indoor? What'd you say? Indoor cycling group?
Yeah, the ICG group builds, group exercise bikes for us.
Like spin classes, although the spin is a registered trademark name, right?
Exactly. That's why we use the term group exercise, but group cycling. It's been a very big part of our growth in that category. We used to have the Life Cycle GX, and we opted to just get in deeper and have more tools and more models, and for us to be able to do the right thing in such a growing, booming amenity, it made very good sense for us to do that.
Wow. What year did that become really hot?
Well, it's been, let's face it, to a true cyclist, that's been really hot for a long time.
Yeah.
The evolution of the spin bike, if you will, started as a $500 bike that you could destroy in a year of classes. Today you spend $2,500 for that same bike, but the expectation of the user is that it's a incredibly well-tuned machine, and that you have classes and technology associated with it that actually leads to a completely different user experience.
I remember going to a class maybe, it was 10 or 12 years ago, and there's 40 bikes on the floor, but there were probably 6 in the back of the room that were for parts and stuff, like this one was missing a piece and that crank broke off and all that. I don't see that anymore. So I guess either they're cleaning up the gyms better or the products are getting better inherently as well.
The expectation is much higher. The level of exerciser demand is much higher, and therefore the products just had to follow the demand of the user, and they could not fall apart, and we couldn't be in the business of selling scrap parts to keep the fleet moving.
There's when I go to a high-end gym, a Lifetime Fitness, and in my area, and the cycle classes are all full up of very well-to-do women who carry nice purses, and if there's anything that group does, it's definitely complain to the higher-ups when things aren't right. You don't have to comment on that, Marc. I know the company line is fine. All right, so what do people need to know? I mean, you guys are seeing tons of you work with huge gyms, right? 100,000 square feet of gym space plus, all the way down to smaller boutiques that might be at a country club or on any sort of private club level. So you guys really see the huge cross-section of the market. What are the trends you're seeing out there as a guy who services all those trends?
Yeah, there's no question that anywhere you find fitness, you find our company. And as fitness is, truly becoming a lifestyle for the average person, there are people who still need to embrace it more deeply, and there are folks that may never truly walk through the door of a health club, and therefore, it's our business to make sure that we make it available to them in any market that we can potentially access a consumer through. So the obvious big box solutions we all know about and hear about on TV, But across the corporate marketplace, you'll see us in all kinds of technology and manufacturing firms where employee wellness is the focus of these companies and keeping their people healthy and fit. So in some cases, if they don't go to a big box gym, you can fulfill the need for them at their place of work. And for those who don't take care of it there, it may be somebody who lives in a rental community where they've got a very nice clubhouse, and in their free time at home or on weekends, they work out in an apartment community or in a condo community. So there are many, many places we are. Whether you're on vacation in a hotel or resort, you're going to find us in the hospitality world. You're going to see us in the cruise line business. So the reach is broad, but we build enough products now that we feel like we're able to touch virtually every marketplace. And when you think about trends, I would just say that functional training and group engagement is something that people are embracing more and more, and it certainly overlaps into many different focus groups. But people enjoy doing things together as groups, and they enjoy the camaraderie and a place to go to be with their friends. And so I think that our focus has been on group training now since the launch of Synergy back almost 6 years ago. And where it goes from here is going to probably be an answer that speaks to you in a technological or digital way. The interaction to our customers in the future will certainly be very involved in software integration and digital type applications.
My Apple Watch tells the machine how much weight to put on based on a cross section of how my numbers are that day compared to what my previous max weight used was, right? And supposedly I'll just walk up and I'll be healthier for it, right? But that Apple Watch doesn't kick me in the ass and get me out of bed in the morning.
Wearables and apps can't do it for us, but I can assure you that people are very glued to their technology. And whether you're 15 years old or 90 years old, it's amazing the tech and digital experiences impact everyone. And the facilities that we take care of want to make sure that they have something for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to go down that rabbit hole, but the rabbit hole I really want to go down too, since I'm all about serving my own population here. Do you see a lot more of the clinical, the clinicians, chiropractors, PTs, physical therapists, MDs, osteopaths, integrating fitness do you see that as a trend as well?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a trend. I think about our wellness division. I don't work in the wellness division, but I watch what happens in the wellness part of our business, and I think about what's happening in the big hospitals and what takes place there. And I then reflect back to the Titleist activity in the golf business that we're in, and know that a lot of the people that work in those facilities show up and get certified in these classes. And so I would say that there's definitely a movement toward traditional PTs and chiros and masseuses and a variety of people in that world that are trying to find a way to take a traditional business that's been good to them and modify it to something that lends itself to less negative impact from insurance providers and insurance rules and regulations, and moving them toward maybe more of a more lucrative cash type basis or formula that gives them a little bit more of a cash payment type customer and the ability to expand their business to a market that they don't touch in their community today.
Yeah, which are all great things on the business side, right?
Yep.
And you outfitting facilities like this?
Yeah, for sure. Probably the easiest examples I can share with you are folks that already have brick and mortar chiropractic or physical therapy clinics where they're predominantly taking care of the average injured person from workforce L&I claims or car accidents or a variety of other things that may have sent them their way, to a customer that's trying to figure out now how to market their business and go talk to the junior business and to talk to athletes that are in their community, and whether they're cyclists or you name the sport, every community's got multiple high schools and leagues and kids in play that is a big market. And so I see these business owners saying, hey, there's a golden opportunity for me to expand my footprint, maybe take the space next to me or add on to my building and go after this market that maybe I'm getting 5 or 10% of on an injury basis, but
Sure.
I could proactively be talking to these people about, the gap between maybe end of insurance payments and actual being able to return to work or return to play fully. So I would say that, that has definitely gotten my attention in the last couple of years, and I see it in the volumes of ratios. When you look at a TPI class that's got 100 people in it, it used to be a third, and a third between your fitness pros, your golf pros, and your medical pros. And today the medical side skews substantially higher almost in every class.
Wow. And are the conversations with you also skewing that way, that people are talking more about that, bringing in the fitness equipment instead of, back in the day it was just quote unquote rehab equipment, which wasn't a whole lot of, it didn't look like a gym, and now you're seeing rehab spots that it looks like you just took a piece of a gym and moved it into a medical office. Yeah,
they certainly are understanding the need to market and offer an experience. And the trick is to market it in a manner that your consumer is far more informed and far more knowledgeable than they have been in the past. And you can't just show them a room full of equipment and expect them to not take a more thorough look at it. The days of talking about fitness and actually having fitness and quality programming, can't. You got to pass the stink test with the consumer, and they're quite knowledgeable, and they're going to hold your feet to the fire. So I would say that these new facilities are definitely buying products that talk to the consumer in a different way and show them they've done their homework and they've invested in the concept, and they're delivering a very different thing than what the core business was doing 10 years ago, and therefore getting people to buy in and sign up for that sort of thing has become much easier for them.
Are you a chiropractor or physical therapist working long hours, worrying about lower repayments and missing out on quality time with your family? You can double your income without working more hours by adding a gym to your practice. Clinic Gym Hybrid Solutions has a step-by-step guide that dramatically simplifies and speeds up the addition of a fitness center and its monthly recurring revenue. In just 6 months, you can be on your way to freedom. Visit clinicgymhybrid.com today for a free downloadable PDF and complimentary consultation to get you started. That's clinicgymhybrid.com.
Now, when you see a facility maybe that you're replacing equipment in, meaning that they've been successful for 3 or 4 years, maybe more than that, because your equipment, can last freaking 100 years. But when you're seeing them upgrade or replace because they are a high-use gym, I'm trying to think of some of the people I know. Fell in Pasadena. I know he has a bunch of Life Fitness equipment in there. Oh man, I can't remember his name at this point, but I'm sure you helped him out. But when you're seeing that, what are the consistent ideas or services that you see people offering that allows them to have a successful gym for 4 or 5 years to the point where they call you and say, "We need more equipment. We need to replace this equipment," etc. Is there any tips you can give our listeners in that area?
Yeah, I think that in life, when you run a business, you have an opportunity to tell people that you're an operator that knows what you're doing. And you've heard the cliche, a picture's worth 1,000 words, and you pay for what you get. And you really have to drive people down the path of, we've got something here more than what the average operator down the street might have.
Sure. And
separating yourself is a way to be, unique and shrewd in that regard. And I think that most of the TPIers or the business, and not everybody's a TPI certified. There are plenty of business owners out there that aren't, but being able to.
But we're sitting at TPI right now, so we'll only talk to those people.
Gotcha. And the beauty of this is that you really need to become a marketer, and you really need to be able to get to the community with a message that says we have something unique that's worth investigating and worth the money that you pay for it. So I think that the best business models that I've seen have been people that have been willing to wow you when you walk in the door and make a very strong first impression. If that doesn't happen, you've got an uphill battle. You really need to open a business with the wow factor that says we get it. And the visits that I've done in facilities all across the country, I see clean, high finishes, very organized environments, and a steady deliverable about the way people are treated once they come through your door. some of the best models that I've seen. They really cater to your needs. They want to make sure that you understand that a clean and tidy and well-staffed and smart staff is going to be there for you. And then you've got consistent hours. You maybe even have some mobile services where you can go remote for the trickier customers. Ends up being a little bit of a concierge type twist to things, but I see that happening as well. And just really catering to what the customer needs and wants. I can't say enough about some of these folks that have paid fine attention to detail and really.
You bring up an interesting point. I wonder if there's a ratio or something, but I bet it would be worth investing a few extra $1,000 in your lobby and waiting area as that initial meeting point, right? And maybe forego some equipment in the back area of the gym, if you will. Like, you have the very high finished waiting room or front desk, and then you would have your big box of where you operate. And I wonder if those dollars are going to go a lot further, because I have walked into gyms where the front desk is like, wow, you think it's like, it looks like a bachelor's apartment who just moved in there's boxes of t-shirts on the floor, and there's not a true desk, and there's not pictures or finishes, and there's a lot of bare walls. And you're right, it does give you that idea of like, oh, well, this is a business that just opened up a few days ago. You're not going to be able to ask for that high dollar amount, right?
Yep. I mean, there's no question that the consumer, if you're asking them to pay a premium price for a premium deliverable, that you want them to have a certain experience in your facility. And when they walk in, you almost want them to spend time in the initial phase, putting eyeballs on the hard work and the finishes and the things you've paid for, while they're waiting for your service. And then once you get into the system, they want to be treated with white gloves, and they want to be pampered a little bit.
Yeah.
And so when your staff is highly trained and they get a consistent, steady, positive reaction within the first 5 or 10 minutes that they're in your facility, and they haven't even started doing any work yet, you can only go up from there in terms of them having the desire and the wish to see what's behind the next door and what is going to happen when they get into their first phase of whatever it may be, whether it's the actual screen or the follow-up or the whole 9 yards. But I'm just telling you that the total experience matters, from the threshold of the front door to how bright the facility is and the cleanliness. And to your point, if you've got kind of a cluttery environment, it makes people question you. And if you can overcome that, hey, great. But in many cases, a cluttery environment leads to a cluttery staff and a cluttery system. And oftentimes people won't pay for that. So it's you have to be
because
steady.
when you get into the back, I mean, the equipment is very, in many ways, is very much the same, especially in a smaller gym. You can't really differentiate yourself too much in what they're doing, because it's something that fights gravity, whether it's shaped like a kettlebell, dumbbell, or a piece of equipment. But the way that the customer is engaged to use it, the way they're taught about it, the way they're educated, and the way it looks and feels are the only differentiators, right?
Programming is critical. Yeah, programming is critical. And the skill set found in one property will not be the same skill set necessarily found at another property, based on the years in business and the years of time a person's invested in the craft. But to your point, I can design and populate a fantastic room, but if it doesn't come with the skill and the talent and the kind of people that really drive results, it can collect dust with the rest. So that's why we care about the post-transaction piece of our business, is that we can design and guide somebody down a path. But what happens after the facility is up and running is where the magic really kicks in. And that's why our partnership with TPI has been such a long-term one. And we believe in the certifications and the people that take it to level 1, 2, and 3, is that they just take their skill set and their deliverable to a higher and higher level. And that's a win for everybody.
They're giving you the sign that, hey, I'm interested in this as a career, not just a hobby that I might just dabble in for 1 second.
Yeah.
And then what is the goal of the partnership with TPI? Like what do you guys see this doing long term, and why are you guys so involved? Because I think I'm trying to remember how long ago, maybe 10 years ago, that I went to my first TPI seminar, and
Yep.
I remember you then, and I see you now, and obviously something's got to be working, right?
Well, let me tell you this. My goal has always been to be a steady provider of quality product guidance and mentoring for TPI. We have stood behind that as we've grown as a company. I can tell you that we're, with the amount of time that we've invested, let's just call it a decade, I can think of easily 100 companies that have started in golf fitness performance that did not exist 10 years ago. And they're all people that we have interfaced with over this decade. And in my opinion, when you can help small businesses start, and you can, I mean, let's face it, the world is made of small business operators.
Yeah.
You know, you can build a gas station or an Applebee's on the street corner, and I'm not excited, but you can open a golf fitness performance facility.
Sure.
And I'm very excited about that. So my passion is helping people, you know, that had an idea, evolve it into a business, and hopefully it turns into a big business and a moneymaker for them. And like I said, we're well north of 100 companies that have started in this line of work that we
literally started after they got
certified.
that weekend. That was the seed,
Yep.
and you saw it grow into a sapling, you know, and flowered and bloomed and finally became its own facility.
Yep. And the beauty of them is they're not the same. They're not 100 of the same thing. You know, each property ends up being something a little bit different from the next. They all have very interesting people running them, and they all blend services, whether it be club fitting, whether it be junior golf, whether it be active aging. Everybody has their specialty niche, and so it's been a wonderful thing for us to see all these different companies start and grow and evolve. And at the end of the day, we want to get golfers, you know, keeping them healthy and keeping them playing the game longer and not aging out before they need to.
Yeah, because we got to, you know, in the world of golf, you got to shoot your age at some point, and that can't happen until you're over the age of 65. And even then, man, that's a pretty tough round to shoot, right? But when you get at 80 and 90, the score becomes easier, but your body's not doing so hot.
Roger that. Roger that.
Yeah.
Keep them moving. Keep them active. It's a game that you can play for many, many years if you take care of yourself, and we're here to support that mindset.
Awesome. Well, if people want to reach out and they love the Life Fitness product and they want to kind of get a hold of you or find out more, how can they reach you?
Yeah. Because I travel a ton, my cell phone is probably the best way to reach me. I'm at 253-653-0665. I'm also available on email at marc.berry, BERRY, @lifefitness.com.
Marc Berry with a C, Marc with a C, marc.berry@lifefitness.com. Fantastic. All right. Well, Marc, one last question for you as we wrap up this interview, but a very important one. Who would win in a fight, Lance Gill or Jason Glass?
I got to tell you, Jason Glass is a wild card. So I think that if you uncork that guy,
Lance is going to leave with no ear, right?
I'd have my money on the Glass man. You went and boxed me into a corner.
Well, I want to get to we get all the fluff out of the way first, and then get to the real important questions. So, all right, well, you heard it here first. Glassman could take on Lance at any point, huh?
I think Lance would be best off by using his speed to evade Mr.
I don't know. Glass can move. Have you seen him run, dude? But
he's capable as well.
Lance has a silver tongue. He can talk his way out of it, you know? All right. Well, on behalf of Marc Berry from Life Fitness, this is Dr. Josh Satterley saying, go out there, maximize your license, and live the life you dream of. Thanks a lot, Marc.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to Clinic Gym Radio. If you're ready to double your profit without working longer hours, please visit clinicgymhybrid.com and find out how easy it is to get started on your path to freedom. That's clinicgymhybrid.com.